Facebook Live and on YouTube. We are on both right now. Facebook Live and on YouTube.
Joe, I need a little slide there.
On that, what happened? That look, there you go. We're having a small issue here.
Pull it out.
All right, better? Anything better?
That's good.
Okay, we got cameras on.
Pull
I guess I'll just have to get closer to you.
Here, look at these little wires. Yeah, pull them out. There you go.
Pull that out. Is that better?
Hey,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
y'all good.
Yeah, we're looking good.
Looking good.
Hello, everybody. And it is the, what is it today? The 19th?
The 19th.
The 19th of July.
Is it the 19th?
It is the 19th of July.
I have no idea what day it is.
You just lost total. I hear some feedback from you guys.
It's me.
And then, yeah, there you go.
Eric's fault.
There's your, now I've got your voice on there too. So welcome everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. And let's see here if we've got CS here on the watch.
I wonder who's out there today. I know we got started a little late, and pretty much that was my fault today.
There we are. I see us on there. And we are live. 706-940-0541. 940-0541 is our call line. And we're going to upset some people today.
No. I think I do that on a daily basis. Hey, can you turn my headphones down just a little bit?
Is that better?
Blasting my brain.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, better?
It's much better.
All right, I'm going to check and make sure we're... Let's say something else here. All right, let's see. I'm going to pull this up here. Oh, okay. All right, we're looking good.
Hey, there's some guy named Joe Coley out there.
Are
Okay, yeah.
we,
I'm sorry?
you said it's sounding good?
Yeah, sounded good.
So,
I know we're out there.
Well, look, at the beginning of this, Joe, I wanted to reiterate something or cover it again, just to let people know.
Do you know where you are and is your gun loaded? I'm sorry.
Okay. I know where mine is. I forgot it at the house. So, anyway. The reason we're doing this show.
We're not supposed to show guns on there, but I can show the holster that I have.
Oh, okay.
In there. So, see.
That's a pretty small holster.
Yeah, so, but, you know, small things.
Anyway, part of the reason we're doing this show is to, we want to have something where people can be connected. So I'm asking everybody's help today. If you're watching the show or you see the show, now granted, because the show is going out on the watch and on YouTube, but on specifically on the watch page, and the watch page is closed, you can't share it pretty much anywhere else. So one thing we need to do is we need to increase the number of people on the actual watch page. The other thing is a lot of you people are connected to other groups like Bleecker, Fort Mitchell, Beauregard, Opelika, Phoenix City groups and stuff, groups around Columbus. And we want you to put a little something out there or bring people to either to the watch or bring it to the show. And in the future, we're going to do a better job of trying, if it's okay with all the moderators and the admins of these other pages, we want to be able to show to link the YouTube page to these individual pages so that if you can't actually watch the watch on the watch live, or it can't be shared with you, that you can at least see the YouTube version of it, which is pretty much the same. It's just you're getting a closer view because we're using a different camera. So the idea is to link all these pages in the area about the stuff we're talking about, and also giving you, the public, a way of either calling in to the show or, you know, following along or whatever. And I know there's a lot of people that are watching out there that aren't commenting for whatever reason. We're not going to go through that all again. It's no big deal. The fact that you're watching and following it is enough, and it will be there when you become. Are you hearing kind of like an echo?
A little bit of an echo on that. I don't know what that exactly is.
So hopefully, can somebody tell us if we're being heard out there okay, and if it's coming across, or if we?
I think it is.
Yeah, hopefully that we're not getting an echo out there. Anyway, if and when you do need the page, whether, there's been a lot of stuff happening we're going to talk about over the, just the last weekend alone. And what I'm seeing, I'm being told no echo now, but now you've turned my headphones down. There we go.
There you
Okay.
I had this.
Sandra,
the mix was
Sandra is saying no echo. No.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
good deal.
Good deal. We're good.
So I see more and more people getting involved in stuff that maybe have a little bit to do with the watch, and some of it has absolutely nothing to do with the watch, and that's great. Whether you want to talk about the Ralston, or you want to talk about the way money is being spent in Columbus, if you want to talk politics, if you want to talk, I saw something on TV that I'm going to jump onto right here off the bat. It's about a week or two old, and people were saying, well, we wouldn't have all this crime in some of these areas if we had more grants and we had the city spending more money in these areas and stuff, and we could show these kids the right way to live, and if they had these programs and these grants and all this money was good, if we started spending more money in these areas, we wouldn't have the crime. Well, I started thinking about it. What about everybody else that's not a criminal? Where did they grow up? Where were their parents? Obviously, they had parents. Obviously, they went to school and they got some good grades and they grew up and they went either to college or in the military, or they went out and got a job at McDonald's and now they're, moved on to different things, or they started their own businesses. But my point is, this last week, and I can only think back about a week at a time, because I'm getting old. But last week, I don't remember robbing anybody in a Walmart parking lot. I don't remember going into a Circle K and pulling out a gun. I don't remember stealing your car, or, carjacking you or breaking into your house and stealing what you worked hard for.
Also too, Eric, one thing that's up there too is, and this is called, reality check. We call it, it's called reality check. Is that a lot of these, like with the grants that are coming in and crime prevention, these programs that people are talking about, you need to go and look at what's really, this is called the word reality, what's really going on with those grants, stuff like that. Yeah, these people are coming in, but they're babysitting services during the summer on that, and that's all that's happening. And I mean, there's a few that do have some merit. I'm going to tell you that do have some good programs. But in a lot of these cases, there's just a bunch of administrators that are, $40,000 is going out for a grant, and $32,000 of it is for the salaries of the people and stuff like that. And and I question too. I mean, let's just use. I don't care what side of the spectrum you sit on, but I find it hard to believe that if we had a choice right now, because right now is today. We have to deal with stuff that's happening right now today, and I believe in being proactive, but we also have to react to the things that are going on. And when we sit there and stuff and say we have 142 police cars, which are barely serviceable, we have officers quitting like flies flying onto a dead carcass. So
I just saw a post on not live media, but social media the other day, and I'll let you get right back on that idea. But allegedly, a police officer, and this was on the watch page. They apologized to a lady at a fender bender in some private parking lot, and they apologized to the lady and said, "We're sorry we took so long to get here.
I saw this post.
We're sorry it took so long, but we have so many police officers that are putting in their resignations and leaving this department that we're like over 100 more. I want to say that they said, and allegedly, 160 officers short right now.
I can believe that.
I don't know if that's true.
Eric, but what the point is too is, my God, when is this going to stop?
But
I was sworn in as a Columbus police officer in January of 1985, and we were 120 officers short.
Yeah.
Now that was what was that? 32 years. Yeah. 32 years ago.
Because of the way they've done they've got to pay, I guess now, for their own retirement. They got to put so much in for their own retirement, their own health care, and everything. In other words, they're working just to pay for what other departments
It's
give
not,
them.
I want to always say it right now, it's not the officers.
So
The
is
officers
it?
are-
Yeah.
God bless the officers are out there. They're out there. And do you know that we have multiple police agencies from all over the South, and so they come here to recruit.
Yeah.
And I don't blame officers because we give them these ridiculous salaries. We give them no to ridiculous benefits, and we don't even get. They're not even paid overtime.
Yeah.
You know that they get comp time.
Well, I saw another post that went along with that one, and it said, and I'm going to say this for both sides. On both sides of the river, people need to look at who their political leaders are and figure out if they're doing a good job, and if they're not, somebody said they need to clean house. And there's got elections coming up, I think, next year?
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, if your elected officials are not if they're not representing you, if they're just giving you lip service,
Then put them out of office.
and think about if you're in a position where you can run, okay? If you can run, if you can do a better job, step up and take the reins and let's do some service. But the funny thing I heard, just been a new announcement. They're talking about putting a roundabout at Old Casita Road and Casita Road. Now, I don't know if that's a scenic spot or not, but I'm pretty sure, coming off of Benning Road and stuff, I've been down Casita Road because I like to cut across sometimes when I'm on one part of town, and I want to live dangerous. I'll cut down Benning Road and go over Brown Avenue over towards Winton Road. But Casita Road and some of those other roads over there where you hear about every night, I don't spend a whole lot of time, and I don't apologize. I'm not going to, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but I have no business over there. And I'm just going to come out and say I'm the wrong color for being in that area. I got no business being over there, and I only cut through there when I have to try and save some time when I'm late for something. But do we really does Columbus really need a roundabout at Casita Road and Old Casita Road? Now, I'm going to have to go over there and scope this out, and maybe do a live report. But I didn't realize that was like a tour spot. I didn't know that's where all the beautiful people were coming to drive around in circles, but I think that's funny. And really, I just want to know whose job it is in the state, because I'm told it's the Department of Transportation pushing this, that they came down to Columbus and said, this is the spot where you need a roundabout in Columbus, right down here, Old Casita Road and Casita Road.
I can tell you one thing. I got a big announcement. How about this?
Okay.
I got a big hot one that I'm sure few little rear ends are going to tighten up on this one. Excuse that crudeness on this, but guess what? And this is official. I can, because I talked to him this morning. He said that I could do it. That we are having next year. We'll be having an election for mayor of Columbus, and Chaplain Paul Voorhees is decided to. He is going to form a committee to look into the feasibility of him, Chaplain Paul Voorhees, running for the office of mayor of Columbus, Georgia. He's not announcing his candidacy, but he is announcing that he is forming a committee to look at the feasibility of running for the position of mayor of Columbus. Paul Voorhees from Raker Joe's, from Chaplain Paul Voorhees Ministries, and one of his campaign slogans is going to be "Let's take the garbage out." That's
okay.
Let's take the garbage
Do you
out.
think he needs a little short guy with a broom?
I think he needs a whole bunch of short guys and brooms out there. I think he needs some people with forklifts because there's so much garbage out there.
You know the analogy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is I know exactly what, and I think the thing is that what he's saying, and it's so true, and it's so applicable, is that in Columbus, Georgia, right now, in the Chattahoochee Valley, period, Russell Lee County, Massasoit County, Harris County, Talbot County, Chattahoochee County, on that things have just gotten out of control, and he said that we need to get the tax situation in hand, we need to get the business situation in hand, and most of all, we need to address and deal with the crime problem we have.
Yeah.
We have a crime problem. We have a gang problem.
Well, let's just real quick. Over the weekend, like like Friday to Sunday or whatever. What do we have? We had like last week alone, 2 separate shootings as Elizabeth Canty, Canty Place. 2 shootings there, and Far Road had a fatality, and then Malloy Drive.
Murder.
Yeah, a murder. I think somebody. I think somebody passed away at Elizabeth Canty. I don't have my fact sheets. This is something I just scratched out real quick from memory. But Malloy Drive, Far Road, Elizabeth Canty. That's just over the period of the weekend, and people are starting to stand up and they're starting to say, "Hey, are we becoming like Little Atlanta? Are we becoming like Chicago's mentioned?" Now, granted, we're not Atlanta yet, and we're not Chicago, and it's going to be a long time before we get there. But are we going down the road, to where people say, you've got these people on one side, they're like, "Oh, we just can't do anything. We're doing all we can do, and there's just nothing else we can do." And then we've got people on the other side that kind of say, "Yes, there is something we can do. And we need to sit down and talk about what we can do." But there's just people in certain elected positions that don't even want to start the conversation. You know why? Because it's not going to look good on their resume, and it doesn't go along with what their agenda that they're trying to push. That Columbus is all safe and the area is all safe and you're just hunky-dory. They don't even want to start the conversation because, one, some of them have their eyes on bigger prizes. They want to go to Atlanta or Washington, D.C. or something, or they're waiting for their shot. So they're not even going to bring it up, And you can't talk crime and property crimes and violent crimes, and you can't talk that stuff when you're trying to tell people, come to Columbus and Whitewater and zip line and everything will be zippity-doo-dah day, although, run down the Riverwalk. This is where you need to come and you need to start your business down here. Well, that's all well and good, yes. By all means, come to Columbus, start a business. But by all means, let's protect the people that are here. And if that means involving more citizen involvement, if that means training citizens on how to protect themselves and how to work closer with the police department, let's do it. I was telling Joe today, I've got a phone message from an elected official on my phone from 2015 who called to chastise me about me talking about gangs in 2015, okay? And she told me that my facts were erroneous and that, "Mr. Woodson, we have a gang task force." Oh, yeah? Well, tell me the number to the gang task force because I want to call it today. Somebody look up the number, call down to the Columbus Police Department and get the name of the head of the gang task force. Okay?
And if you call down there, they'll say that there is no longer.
Yeah, it's already been put out in the news. There is no gang task force. They have something that they call intelligent policing.
Welcome, Stacy.
Oh, Stacy is back from the beach?
Stacy is that how you pronounce her name?
Which one? What Stacy is it? We have more than one Stacy?
Stacy Dennehy.
Oh, that's the wrong Stacy. That's the wrong Stacy. The other Stacy's down at the beach. That's why some of our posts and stuff during the nighttime hours have been lean this week because Stacy's taking a break.
Well, she needs one.
Yeah, but anyway, you'll get something called, or you'll be directed to something called intelligent policing or something, which it's my view, that it's my understanding, it's a couple of people, sifting through Facebook posts and looking online and keeping computer facts and stuff and, doing little indexes and stuff on crimes and stuff. That's all well and good, but there's nobody out driving around keeping track of these gangbangers and stuff.
706-940-0541, 706-940-0541.
So I just find it funny that, going back to 2015, and there's no problem. But yet, since 2015, we've had news stories about police officers being threatened by the 5150 Taliban, other people that have posted and stuff and said, "Look, I spent my whole career in either corrections or law enforcement. I know there's a gentleman out there on our page that spent his career tracking gang-related activity. He knows there's gangs." And, and I find it funny that a certain elected official, if they're not riding down the street in lowriders, or whatever, or their hoopties with bandanas around their heads and, flashing their gang signs and stuff, that must mean there's no gangs out there. Well, I got news for you, there are. And cars are being stolen to commit other crimes. Drugs are being brought down here from Atlanta. Seen it. Know for a fact. People go to Atlanta to get large amounts of drugs to bring back down
Well,
here.
this is interesting. Why don't
What are you going? You going to a live report?
Yeah, well, no, something even better than that.
Okay.
I think this is even better than that. I'm here on my iPhone here, and I'm looking on the, as you can see, the Columbus, Georgia Police Department Community Awareness page.
Are they following us now?
No, but
Okay.
let me read it. Since its inception of the Columbus Police, now this is was Wednesday, July 19th, 2017. I mean, that's today, isn't it? You see,
They check the sun.
So there's the
Yeah.
date. Yeah, that Wednesday, July 19th, 2017. Okay. It says on here, and I'm reading from the Columbus Police Department's page on here. It says, since the inception of the Columbus Police Department's gang task force in the spring of 1990, we've identified over 30 gangs in Columbus. This was written today.
Okay, so so that says the gang task force?
Yeah, yes. It says on it. Now we have the gang task force. We've identified over 30 gangs in Columbus. Most of the gangs in the Columbus area are aligned with the Crips, Bloods, Black Gangster Disciples, and also known as the Folks or Raiders. Reason kids join gangs, gang indicators, top 4 ways to raise a gang member, typical pre-gang behavior, warning signs of gang involvement, and actions taken by teachers and professionals. So apparently today we have as a matter of fact, they said there are 3 different types of gangs: hedonistic, meaning sexual, instrumental, and predatory. We have colors. It says on information links gangs with their primary colors: Crips blue, Bloods red, and Black.
What about the gang that we've been talking about for years that wear the camouflage?
That's a relatively new one.
Yeah, the camouflage. You remember the camouflage that Muskogee County had to make a rule that you can't wear camouflage
I'd like you to read
school.
what the title of this article is called.
Community Awareness, Street Gangs and You.
And that was dated, as you see, I'm going to show Eric again, today, July 19th, Wednesday, and it is from...
I find it hilarious. I mean, depending on what year we're going to go back and talk about, that there was a gang task force, then there wasn't a gang task force, and now as of today, we're talking about this. All of a sudden, poof, we have a gang task force again. So, who's in charge? Does it say who's in charge of the gang task force?
Did anybody tell the mayor this?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Did anybody tell the mayor this?
Okay, that says, let's see what we've got here. And then, okay. Now, let's see. In fact, let's go back to 2016. This is last year. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm quoting Mayor Teresa Tomlinson, the city's head of public safety, and this is from the Ledger Inquirer.
Okay.
Alva James Johnson, June 25th, 2016.
Okay.
And it says here, and I'm quoting, it says, Mayor Teresa Thompson, the city's head of public safety, here's that, the city's head of public safety, says it's unclear whether the incidents were gang activity. We're not calling it, quote, we're not calling them gang-related shootings, despite the fact there may be individuals that were involved in this murderous activity that self-identify themselves as being associated with a gang, the mayor said Wednesday. But the actual act, we have not determined as part of a hit, or if you will, something to that effect. And it goes on to say down here, what is a gang? And it says the state of Georgia defines a gang as any group of 3 or more individuals operating under the same name to accomplish the perfect common purpose of ongoing criminal activity. Sergeant Roderick Graham, who heads the Columbus Police Department's Criminal Intelligence Unit.
Criminal Intelligence.
No, that's on that. So
is that anything like Army Intelligence?
It says Thompson said gangs now operating in the city are very different to those in generations past, and the city has to adapt to current trends while trying to address the problem. And I'm quoting her, quote, I think that when people hear gangs, they think of Bloods and Crips and things in the 80s and 90s. That's not so much what we deal on a day-to-day basis. Didn't it just say on the article from today that it was the Bloods and the Crips? Did we just read that?
I'm confused. Is anybody else confused?
Anybody else confused? We just read a thing from Wednesday, March 19th.
Hang on. We got a little thing right here. Let's see, a little needle. See if we can spin it around.
We just read a thing on here saying that it was from today, talking about, and the 3 most prominent gangs were the Bloods, the Crips, and the Black Gangster Disciples. And the
So-
mayor just said, quote, I think when people hear gangs, they think of the Bloods and Crips and things with A's and I's. That's not what we deal with here on a day-to-day basis, she said. What we have here are criminal enterprises, sort of affiliations of opportunity, individuals who know each other and work together for a common goal.
You know, she said a couple years back, and there's a famous meme. I don't know who created the meme, but there's a famous meme of the mayor saying, you know, if you're not involved in risk-based activity, you should feel safe in Columbus. So basically, to me, that means if you're not involved in, if you are involved in some type of violence or something, or criminal activity in Columbus, then it must be your fault because you were involved in some kind of risky behavior, you know, like going out on the street or going out to eat.
Didn't we just read a thing, too, from today that said that identified itself as the Gang Task Force? Didn't we just read that just a few minutes ago?
Well, now they're saying they've got one.
Well, and here it says here, Thomason said, now listen to this. It says, Thomason, we don't quote, and I'm quoting the mayor. This is June of 2016, so that's exact 1 year ago.
Okay.
Quote, we don't have a gang task force anymore because it was targeted at the types of gangs that monitor we used to have.
So, folks, we are not making this stuff up.
We're not making,
Joe and I are not sitting around here just drawing on legal pads saying, hey, let's say this today. Let's say this. Let's say the mayor said this. Let's say the mayor said that. No, we can't get the mayor from year to year to stick to anything.
And look, I'm going to show. There's your picture there. And now listen, in the same article, I want you to read this with me, Mick, in the same article, okay? This is quoting the mayor, right? Tomlinson, you see that? It says, I don't think people hear gangs, they think of the Bloods and Crips in the 90s. That's not so much when we deal here on a daily basis. Now let's go down, same article, let's go down to Mr. Graham, who is the head of the, it says, Graham, who heads the Intelligent Crime Unit, said there are three major gangs in Columbus. The gangs are Bloods and Crips.
Okay, so Sergeant Graham
just contradicted the mayor.
Is who's in charge of the intelligent policing or the computer nerds, doesn't have the title. He's not falling under the gang task force. The gang task force, okay? It's intelligent policing. Okay.
Yeah, but what I'm more concerned is the mayor, who's identifying himself as the public safety director, in the same article says that we don't have the Crips and the Bloods. Yeah. And then 3 paragraphs out it says our main issue is the Crips and Bloods and the gangster disciples.
You know, I don't care what the gangs, what you call them or what they wear. I don't care if the gangs in Columbus are a bunch of Elvis impersonators dressing up as Elvis. I don't care if they're a bunch of Santa Clauses in Santa Claus's suit. If you've got gangs and you've got people committing the crimes, that's who we need to tell the people to be looking for. That's what you need to focus on. How much of this stuff is gang related? All these Circle K robberies, all these cars being stolen to commit other crimes and stuff. But you can't even get the people that are supposed to be dealing with this to agree on what the name of the unit is. You can't even get them from year to year to admit that, you know, one time they're saying there is a unit, now they're saying there's no unit, now they're saying there is a unit. How do the citizens keep up with this? Okay? Either we have a gang unit or we don't have a gang unit. In the military, I will tell you, they've got units in the United States military that keep up with gang activity in our country, inside the country, okay? They know what the gangs are doing, but they don't operate in civilian law enforcement because it's against the law. But they've got the intel.
Well, here I've got an article here that says
But I'm telling you,
it's entitled the RealStreet.com map of gangs in Columbus, Georgia.
Does that have the roundabouts in that? The map, the gang map?
Yeah.
Because I'm being told that these roundabouts are going to cut crime down in Columbus.
All right, let's see what they say.
Wrong.
Let's see what we've got here. Let's go back. And here it is. Columbus, Georgia hood maps with areas of Columbus, Georgia gangs. All right, let's see what we've got here, okay? Okay, off of Buena Vista Road, we have what's called the Sweetwater Gang East Side. And then we've got in East Urban Heights, the East Urban Heights Gang. Then we have off of Wellborn Drive, they're part of the East Side. And then we have the D Wood Gang out on the East Side. The Benning Hills, we have gang affiliations there. The OPs in Oakland Park, South Side. Here's over here in Alabama. Let's see what we got over here in Alabama.
What about the gangster disciples?
I think I'm getting to them. Mid-site gangster disciples. That is interesting. This and that. Then we've got. Let's see here. Let's go down there a little bit.
I mean, what about the 5150 Taliban that up there?
Winton Road with 5150 Taliban.
Oh, not only Winton, but you go up north. I think northeast of the hospital up there. What is it, 10th Avenue or whatever? And you go up there, like, what is it, 23rd, 24th, 25th Street, up there 15th, 14th Avenue, where there have been a bunch of shootings, a bunch of murders. And you can go up there and you can ride, and you can see all the gang graffiti painted on the abandoned houses and stuff up in there. And people pretend like, oh, we don't know what's going on up there. We don't have a clue. I mean, it has quieted down here lately, but, it's absolutely ridiculous,
Well, it's absolutely.
That's why I was saying there needs to be a new mayor come into town, and there needs to be some new leadership in some of these positions and stuff. And I don't even care how many law enforcement agencies they have in Columbus. Keep the marshals, keep the sheriff's department, build the CPD back up, and get some new leadership in there. And let's go after the people that are making this a crappy place to live. Okay, let's go after them hard. Take the gloves off. Let's not worry about hurting some political feelings out there, and let's go after who's committing the crimes. Let's say who's committing the crimes, okay? And along with that, the media needs to get off their butt and start asking the tough questions and stuff. They need to ask, who committed this crime? What was the suspect's description? There's something on the police report, okay? They don't turn in blank police reports, okay? They don't say, oh, we didn't get anything. We don't have a clue who this, was he a male, a female? Was he black? Was he white? Was he Hispanic? Was he purple? Was it, was it Barney the Clown? Was it, whoever? These reports go in day and day out. There was a report over in Russell County today about, WTVM covered, put the lady's picture up there, okay? She had been stealing from a sports league over there in Fort Mitchell, somewhere out there. I don't know what recreational league it was. I don't know if the county was involved or what, or who was involved. But when WTVM called the Russell County DA's office, they said, well, we don't have a file on this. We don't know what you're talking about. When WTVM called the Russell County Sheriff's Department, they couldn't get any phone calls back to cooperate. So if the media can't get the information, then I guess the people need to start calling up the sheriff's departments and the police departments and ask what's going on with this. Like Phoenix City, we had a shooting over a month ago right there in broad daylight on 13th Street. The state took over the investigation, okay, over a month ago. Have you heard one word about what the investigation, has it been concluded? Has there been any decisions made on anything? But guess what? Nobody's asking. Nobody's asking. The reporters aren't asking. Nobody's calling up. And people are like, oh, yeah, there was a shooting down there at broad daylight. What was the outcome of that? What happened? I guess they're just waiting until we all forget about it. And, they'll maybe tell us when somebody finally gets off their butt and files a Freedom of Information Act, and we have to tell them something a year from now. Oh, yeah, we did. The results came back. But we're not going to tell you. So I don't know. People, it comes back to, I don't care what you're concerned about. If you let the status quo go, if you're not going to stand up and fight for what you want to know about, nobody's going to come to your house and tell you. Okay? They're just going to hope you never ask about it again. If you're not going to get involved in your neighborhood, if you're not going to get involved in your community, then you got to be happy with just whatever happens. If it makes you happy, good. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you got to get involved, and you got to ask questions. You got to pick up the phone. You got to call your elected leaders. You got to get involved. And I don't know how many times we've got to say it. And if we can't get help from elected people or appointed people, ooh, that didn't sound good. Then as citizens, we got to get together and we got to start working on stuff. And I hope there's some people that hear this. I hope there's some people that say, you know, it's time for me to get involved. And I'm really glad that Chaplain Paul's going to look at running for mayor.
And if he doesn't actually become, you know, decide to run for mayor, we're going to find somebody, and he's going to find somebody that is qualified and that will
Maybe there's some people out there right now
because
they're thinking about running for political office.
well, and I can tell you right off the bat, one of his statements is that, let's just put it this way: there's a lot of and you know who you are. There are also a lot of city employees right now that better be looking for jobs if he has anything to do with it, because you're going to be unemployed at the end of 2018.
I wonder if there's any dog catching positions open. I'd like to be dog catcher. What do you think? All right, I'll ask him about it. Hey, on another note, is that somebody tuning up a banjo?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Is that feedback or what?
That was just me banging it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I just did it again.
There have been a lot of people posting their security camera video. There's been a lot of people asking about security cameras videos.
I'm a big believer in security camera videos.
And I'm here to ask people today, I don't know how many people are out there actually listening right now live, but how many people would like us to bring a security consultant on the show to talk about for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour? Talk about some of the options you can get. You know, some of these security cameras that are available that are wireless. They're available online, so you don't even have to be home. You've got the doorbell ringers with the cameras now. How many people out there just, you know...
Hello, David. Thank you. Welcome in. Yeah, and you know what? We also have, and we don't get paid or endorsed or compensated with it, but we have done our research and we can recommend reputable, reliable, honest people that do this.
There's been a couple names come up. But anyway, let us know if you would like to have somebody talk about cameras and stuff. In the future, we can talk about some other stuff. You know, I know we've kicked it around about talking about, you know, a short little pieces on...
While we're sitting here right now, Eric can look over to the right, and I'm looking at all over my house, all over.
Yeah, Joe was brought up all the cameras at his house.
Got the doors, every single angle.
What kind of cameras do you have, Joe? Because that's some really good video.
I have these are ADT, but I have a good friend now that just retired from ADT. That started his own business.
Okay.
He spent 30 years with them, and he's very reliable. But that can give you. This is the same equipment. You can see also too. I want to show you something that's interesting on this. Is that I can push this. And
now there's a. It looks like a gun barrel is moving with that camera. Do you have a machine gun attached to that?
That's a completely different system now. But we can go that and just to show you what's really neat.
Just kidding, folks. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Is we can sit here and I can go back to this little, and I can go back, for instance, to tonight. And if I wanted to go back, and this records it in the cloud, it costs $3 a month to do this. $3 a month. I can go ahead. This is early AM. You can see where the little the different colors change. That's when there was some.
In other words, you can go back and review.
Yes, you can review. Like I can go back and review.
Now, at what point does it? At what point does the system start to dump and re-record over itself?
You can. There's choices up for $3 a month, and to keep it up for 3 months.
Okay.
Now I'm just showing you that. Now this is what I'm doing here, and we're going to go to. I'm here, and we're going to go to that to the playback of that. And and like I said, we get, and you've got the current time on here right now, I have used this many times. One thing too, I'll show you too that's interesting about this is this has the same one, and this is a very affordable system. I think this costs for the ADT system. I think costs about $35 a month. You'll see here. I'm going to pick in here. That when I have any type of movement, like even you can set it up anywhere from 5 feet to 100 feet. But
Right.
I'm looking here. You can see the cars going by there.
Yeah.
And I can blow that up. I can take pictures of that. And I have many times used this already. And In fact, see, I can bring this up. I can come onto here,
Right.
and I can bring it up, and I can blow it up, and I can get.
Yeah, unfortunately, they can't see everything we're talking about,
but it's very impressive.
Yeah. So I think in the future we will have somebody come in. We'll have somebody come in and talk about security cameras and security systems for you. We can talk about, if someone were to kick your door in or something, we can talk about the different
options available
to you if someone does kick your door in, and maybe some of the possibilities of what type of weapon for the individual.
Think of one word: shockwave, and then look that up on the your
internet. Joe's big on the new Mossberg Shockwave, which if you need something small and compact that is totally shocking from a standpoint, you might want to look at that. And
just pointed in the general direction.
And if you're in the Columbus area and you want to run over and see one, you can go see our good friend John McMullen over there at Shooters.
Who has both models, and also our good friend Robbie Witten at Money Miser. Both of them have those.
Yeah. Mr. Tim is over at Money Miser or the Northside Pawn Shop in Phoenix City. If you need, so I don't know if they have any over there, but he can probably get you one. Anyway.
Oh yeah, they've got.
Well, what are we gonna? Let's see. What are we gonna move over to?
Let's
seem like.
Let's just. I want to remind everybody about one thing too. About hello, Sandra. How are you? Again, Miss Pat's going to be out for a minute, so if you call in, it's going to take me. Let it ring. It's going to take me a second to get over to get the phone. But remember that one thing about crime is that crime is seasonal. Also, in the sense too that you have more crimes, person crimes. Violence against people when it's hot this time of year than you do in the winter, where you have more property crimes, where people are breaking into houses typically on that. But the thing is to recognize is that also too Eric and I were talking about this, that we have got to come together as a community in the Chattahoochee Valley. Is because what do we now? I don't even know if it's been updated. It was 17 murders in Columbus alone, I think just a few weeks ago. I think it's probably 18 or 19 now. But that's not really indicative, because it's like people act like Phoenix City and Russell County or Harris County or something like that's on another planet. If you add all those from those counties in there together, we're up there. We're having a consistent number of people that are killing each other. And I can tell you this, it's interesting too. The people out there are afraid. We were talking about Robbie Witten out there for Money Miser. I've been around since I was in junior high school, and that's when we still call it junior high school. And he told me that in the last, he's been in business 30 years, and he said that in the last 3 years, that he has sold more guns legally to citizens that for wanting to protect themselves in the last 3 years than in the preceding 27 years.
Wow.
And and he literally, John McMullen had told me over at Shooters that he has so many sales of handguns. They have some handguns on sale over there that he's buying them in lots of 1,000 guns at a time, because
1,000 guns at a time.
But they bought a Taurus. There's a Taurus P111. Of course, again, this is not compensated endorsement anyway. It's just a friend. But there's a model called the P111 Taurus Millennium 9mm pistol, and he still has them up there. And they sell for $199 for the pistol. So it's a mid range. It's not a high end dollar gun, but it's not a low end gun. And he told me they had bought 1,000 of those, and they've sold 935 of them.
That's a lot of guns.
So you're just talking about. And hello, Zach. Welcome to the show. We appreciate any if y'all want to put any concerns or thoughts or words on there. And
Zach Walters.
Yes, Zach Walters.
Yeah, I'm not getting these updates on my phone for some reason. I don't know why.
Did you scroll to the left thing? I'll show you how to do it. I think there's a little way you gotta take the.
I'm not much of a techie.
Okay, let's see.
Even though someone has just told me,
put your little thing in there.
oh yeah, it's
Facebook, sorry.
not big on security codes.
Oh yeah, we got it a little bit. There we go.
Anyway, yeah, somebody just upped and just ordered me supposedly the top of the line smartest phone there is, but now I'm going to have to go back to school to learn how to use it. Because it took me forever to use this thing, and it's 2 or 3 years old. Now they got me the latest, greatest smartphone that's, I was like, I think they said like $700, $800 for this thing, and that was with a discount. So I don't know exactly what this phone, I hope it makes me sandwiches in the afternoon, wakes me up in the morning, breakfast in bed. But anyway, so has anybody got any concerns out there? Look, I want to tell you again, if you got something that you're doing, you can contact Dr. Joe or myself, and we can give you some time on the air to talk about what you're concerned about. I mean, if you're concerned about these roundabouts, we could talk about that. If you're concerned about things going on in school systems, which I know there's a lot of people, and that's been a big topic lately in Columbus about what's going on with the school system. And I'd like to chime in a little bit on that and take a side. But, if you're trying to hire a lawyer to try and intimidate some school board members or keep them from speaking out, I think you're wasting your money. Because apparently these two guys that you're trying to keep quiet probably aren't the type of individuals that are going to keep quiet. And a lawyer, what's he going to do? Hit him with a writ of habeas corpus, a writ of gagius orderus with duct tapus,
I was trying to tell people too. One thing too out there, Zach. What are y'all's thoughts about the uppers in the city wanting a new government center? I think that's a joke. We got a police department. Thank you, Zach, for bringing that up. Go get. He's just saying. He said, "Tell him, Eric. Go get him on that." We can't even afford to pay our officers. We have our streets are falling apart. Our infrastructure's falling apart. They want to build a new government center.
Here's my question on that. I have these thoughts that go in and out of my head all the time, and people say, "Well, there's nothing in there to keep them in there." But sometimes you're right. Things come in my head and go right out my mouth. But here's my thought, Zach. Who was responsible for doing the maintenance on the building down through the years? And if you're doing daily maintenance and you've got people they're supposed to be doing the upkeep of the building, how much money and who's been in charge of this? These pipes that are supposedly rusting out or whatever and going bad and all this other stuff, has money been spent on the upkeep just like any business or like your car? You've got to do maintenance on your car. You've got to check the air in the tires. You've got to put oil. You've got to change filters. You've got to have it lubed up. You've got to take it in for maintenance. Who's been doing the maintenance on the building?
Welcome, Richard. Richard is doing this also.
Okay. Well, thank you. So that's my question. One thing is the maintenance been upkept, and if they do need a new building, I think the people need to, that supposedly they're doing tours here coming up later in the month that they're going down there and take people through, which I'm sure is going to be, it's already been said, it's probably going to be pretty much a dog and pony show, and you're going to see the worst areas that they could possibly show you to convince you.
Well, the bottom line is that the council and the mayor, I mean, they have cut budgets dramatically. They have, all of them have said that there's no money available. We're tight. Our bond rating has dropped. I was told by a reliable source at one time we used to have several months of emergency operating funds. I've heard we have none now. Linda just tuned in. She says it looks like Columbus is going to hell in a handbasket with all the crimes lately, and I agree. I've been here all my life. People, I can say I'm about to be 56 years old.
You know what? Somebody said they threw this out there the other day. They said, well, if the mayor can't lead, if they can't take care of their building, maybe they need to just get them some trailers or something, move the city government center to some trailers, and then turn maybe the idea is they need to turn that land over to Columbus State University.
Well, Zach just posted. He said he was just over there on the 26th of June, and he really didn't see anything wrong with the building. The mayor's just looking to spend some money. He goes right back around
So,
about situation.
Zach, maybe this is her swan song. You know, you got the roundabouts. And now look, I built a new government center. Look at me. Vote for me when I go to Atlanta or Washington D.C. because I built this new what do they call the what's the Muskogee County building down there? The Taj Mahal. Look, there's a new Taj Mahal in the skyline.
There's a lot of people that said why if we desperately need a building, we've got a building that's in great shape. That's about 2 blocks away. It's called the Ironworks and Trade Center, which is never. I don't think. Well, I shouldn't say that. To my knowledge, has never posted a profit.
Yeah.
And is a giant, huge waste of space. It always tickles me. I'll go there to luncheon or something up there, and there'll be 50 or 100 people in chairs.
Hey, I've got it. It just came to me, folks. Look, we moved the city government building over to the Civic Center.
There you go.
And somehow we make the offices up there and all those, we turn the Civic Center into the new government center. And that way, possibly they can make some money on it or something. I don't know. There'd be plenty of parking for the government center then.
Zach just came back and said you're crazy. That's all it is. She's trying to make a name for herself. That's all. That's exactly it.
Hey, there's my buddy. He actually wasn't my ranger buddy, but Ranger Richard is out there.
Hey, Ranger Richard, Valerie.
Richard
also just joined us. Sandy just joined us.
Give me a call. I want to find out. There's been some posts about some guys riding around the neighborhoods in a van. With Storm Team Construction or Storm Team something on it, and some people were concerned around the Lee Road 212 area about it the other day.
We have some over here in Columbus. Sandy just came out and said they had enough money for the city manager to buy a brand new Challenger, but can't pay for our law enforcement officers. They're the ones that protect us. That is a fact, by the way.
I heard about the Challenger.
Let me tell you something. I can tell you that I have personally looked into that. I've contacted multiple council members. And I have confirmed that our city manager. Now I want to be fair. Okay, he used money out of his budget that he had the authority to use. Now, so I'm not saying that
to get aftermarket rims put on it so it looked nice.
He could do whatever he wanted with it. He had money. So what I'm saying now, there's an old saying: no matter how you count the skin of the cat, he ain't gonna like it. And he bought a black Dodge Charger with a police package, with a 450 Hemi package, police interceptor package.
That's so he could get around town quick to all these meetings,
with
right?
$1,000 rims. With $1,000. So I meant to buy a new Challenger. My phone type's what it was too. And let me tell you something about that, Sandy. Here's the amazing thing too. This Sandy, and I know you'll really appreciate this. This is the same city manager, Isaiah Hughley, that went out and came to the council and told the council that he was recommending as city manager that we actually get some electric police cars because fuel costs were so high for law enforcement officers out patrolling.
But he's got the Hemi package in his, right?
I think he gets 12 or 13 miles per gallon of that, but he had to do that. Suzanne, hey Suzanne, she just came in. First watch for her. Hello and welcome. She says, hi Eric.
Hey Suzanne.
She's one of our new watchers. Why does the city manager need a police package? You know what? We have that same question.
Because you got to, in today's world, you got to be cool. You got to have the fast car because you got to get to those meetings. You know?
And again, I want to, I want to stress out there, in all fairness, that this was purchased with funds from his budget that he was allowed to.
Oh, come on, Joe. Where does that budget come from?
But for the city. But guess what? Guess what? When he was asked what his rationalization was for buying a police interceptor, he said, "quote," and I quote him, "it's a perk."
Yeah, but where does that money come from?
Frank
the city?
Myers. Frank Myers has joined us. Hey,
Holy
Frank.
cow!
There he is. Oh, Frank, Frank, you need to come on the show.
Yeah, we'll let you
on there. Yeah.
We'll let you talk about lawyers trying to gag you and stuff and keep you from speaking out.
Sandy just said, he should be the first one to buy electric cars. As far as I'm concerned, the city manager should be driving like a Yugo or something. Or
why don't we get him one of those golf carts that you see going around down on Broadway? They're electric.
Zach Walter said, just like Cassim Reed in Atlanta, running blue lights and sirens around just to get to places. And that happens. That happens. And see, that's one of the things funny about the mayor. The mayor, under our charter, technically the mayor is the public safety director, which is the head law enforcement official of the city. It's of course by
Don't you
sheriff is the highest.
don't you usually have some qualified person to be the head of something?
Actually, you know what? I believe under Georgia law, and matter of fact, maybe Mr. Meyer, since he's attorney, maybe he could correct me on this or know about this. I was always told that if you are the city manager, the public safety director, or you become the city director, city public safety director when you become mayor, that you are, if you are going to use that title, that you must within 12 months attend the Georgia Police Academy.
Oh, I'd love to see the mayor out there running the track and carrying the dummy and jumping the fence. Yeah, and let's take her out to the range and see how many worms she shoots.
Frank, we can get you to call in a minute. Miss Pat, we head to the store for just a second, so we have nobody in here on the.
Well, you call in. I'll try and figure out the phone over
Martha just came on. Martha, a bike would be appropriate considering the push for bike lanes on 13th. Lead by example. I heard that.
Well, folks, this money came out of your pocket for his car.
And mine.
Yeah, well, not mine. I don't live in Columbus, but the money came out of tax money. Okay, and there is no reason. Okay, for the city manager, whether it's a perk or whatever. I mean, what's next? He needs a Mercedes. That a city employee needs a V8 Hemi package with a police package. And then aftermarket rims so that his car looks nice in the parking deck or whatever.
Then we do. Then here's another one. And Frank, I hope you're still there too, because I know you like to chime in on this. Is here we are for years. I wonder how many people even know out there that we heard in the paper about Heckler and Koch, H&K, breeding a plant to Columbus. Heckler and Koch has been in Columbus for years, and it has been the North American headquarters for Heckler and Koch. Matter of fact, if any Heckler and Koch gun that is assembled, if you look on the side of it, it says assembled in Columbus, Georgia. Okay, the Marshals Department in Columbus, Georgia, and the Phoenix City Police Department, I think just recently did, and several other local departments in the area all carry H&K guns.
Can you check our connections, because we're being told that we're breaking up.
Breaking up. Is that a little bit better there? Should be a little bit better.
I'm not sure.
It's my phone, or you're breaking up. We barely hear a word. Let's try that better. Okay, hold on here. Maybe we pulled the connection here or something.
Could we have
somebody tell us if that's better?
Too many.
You know what? That may be Miss Pat is up there, not on the we're on the Facebook. Keep talking, Eric. I'm going to look at that over there for a second.
All right. Hey, check those other gentlemen out there. They may be on social media too. So,
that could be it.
Well, folks, there's been some good points. Can somebody let us know if we're still breaking up or?
Okay, yeah, we have a problem here. I know what this problem is. Okay, hold on. All right, let's see. You keep talking.
Just keep talking? Okay, now I've been distracted, but now there's some good points going on. Bringing them up and stuff. And I'll bring it up again that, if you'd like to come on the show, did that go all the way in? Oh, something just happened.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Because yours is different. Hold on, keep going.
Okay, but you've totally taken me out of the picture there.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Just keep talking so we can. I can see if I can hear you.
Come on, better? Talk about your.
Better, Sandy. You talking now?
Talk about your event. Talk about your concern. You can come on. We'll give you some time.
As everybody hearing this, okay?
Let's see.
It's good now. Okay, it's good now. Thank you.
It's good now. Okay.
Say, Dr. Joe got
our attack dog has been running around under the tables that you can't see, and I think he pulled out one of the cords or something. Something like that. Or it could be, we do have a number of wireless devices running at the same time right now. We might be pulling all the bandwidth, In other words, we've got, instead of having just one camera, one computer, we've got a number of different devices running, and we might be using up all our juice. So, anywho, he's back.
Oh, Sandy, I thought the mayor's cut the cord. Oh, that's very possible. That's happened before on that. And You know, another thing that's very interesting about that too is that, you know, I've had people out at Fort Benning that have told me, consistently have told me, I guess I'm saying about being a lip reader, haha, David, I think in the last 2 years, the mayor's been out at Fort Benning twice, and one time was to go watch fireworks out there. And the mayor is invited to every change of command, garrison command, post commander, major unit commander, all these things over and over and over again. And, you know, our relationship with Fort Benning is just falling apart. And, you know, we depend on Fort Benning. David Kelly, this isn't really relevant for my area. Also, you sound like you're way off from the mic. Okay, let's try to put that. How about now? Are we better? What it is, Mike, is I think we have these, what do you call it, semi-directional, single-directional microphones. You actually got to talk right into the front of the sorry, because you're right. If I talk like this, it sounds like we're way off. Sorry about that, Mike, for letting me know, or David for letting me know, because we.
Is it better now?
Was it the Russians?
This thing looks like
clear, but far away. Is that better, Sandy?
Is it better when I talk like in this thing?
Yeah. I don't think your mics are working. I don't think our mics are working. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. They should be working. Hold on. Let me keep working with me, everybody. I'm working the problem. Keep talking to Eric.
So, David, you're not hearing anything at all, or you're hearing something way far away? I mean, come on now. You're not talking to a couple of technical rocket scientists here. Oh, now you've gone way up. You're blowing my earphones out. Is that better or worse, or? I have to see because we're on a. Wait a minute now. I can hear myself, and we're not even.
Is your sound down?
Yeah, my sound's down.
Okay.
I think we're getting a feedback. I think you got it way too up.
Turn it down. Okay, hold on. All right, we're working.
I bet that was fun for somebody. Was that good for y'all? Still way far away.
Wait a minute. Okay,
Sound far away.
All right, hold on.
No, I got that.
Okay, hold on there. Keep working. We're working.
You got a cracking, like a crackling, popping noise.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna turn this off and turn it back on. Not on the show.
Your lips are moving, but I can't hear what you're saying, and I'll have to become comfortably numb. So we've lost something. Do you think you plugged that plug over there is in the right spot?
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on here. Hold on. Let's turn it over. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Susan Smith says we've got an echo now.
Echo. Okay. Now we're working on that. I'm working on that. Okay. Hold on. See what it is. Miss Pat is locked out the door here.
What's the phone number? It's 706
940
940-0541.
Yeah.
Okay, 706-940. When you walk over near the camera, you are clear.
Okay.
So which camera? I wonder.
Let's see.
You know, if you've got the earphones plugged in, it's probably taking the. Hang on a second. Now see, how about now? Because
No, don't do that.
Don't do that?
Yeah, put that back in.
Okay, but if you've got the earphones plugged in, that's where all the sound's going, right?
No, that's set.
Okay.
But I'm not hearing anything on here. Wait a minute. You're right. I'm not hearing anything on here. Let me get this right. Hold on.
I don't know.
Okay, keep talking.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We've got
We're working on it.
got some technical difficulties here.
I don't know what happened to our sound.
The sound was good earlier. I don't know what changed.
It's in it all here. Okay, I'm going to go in and come back out, everybody. Hold on. Hold on. Okay,
Don't do that as clear. Don't. I heard him clear. So they're hearing you over there.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna
So maybe you need to take that plug, that earphone plug out.
Okay, let's. Hold on, just a second. Okay, all right. Now let's go back out.
So we're going to end up with two. It says the video is ended.
I mean, hold on. All right, should be back. Should be back here in just a second. everybody. All right, hold on. Give it a second. Hold on. I'm working it. Facebook. Okay.
Well, here's the other thing. Are we still on? We're still taping on.
YouTube. You're on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I say just end it. I mean, this is all screwed up now. So.
Okay. All right. But I still need to figure out what's going on here. Just a second. Hold on. Where Pat is. Okay, I'm gonna cut that off. We'll come back on this. I don't know. Something pulled out. Okay, let me get it here. Okay. Sorry, everybody out there. We're going to cut this off here.